Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of American flyover country. Having a little challenges with making sure I've got the sound turned down, number one, with my lighting just a bit. So you're getting to see what a green screen looks like with when it's just a green screen. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to hide here. We are under the radar, but always over the top. Uh, just finished up a nice interview with Diamond over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Do encourage all of you to go over and subscribe to that fine channel. Had a chance to sit down with Diamond out at the little event I like to lovingly call the Fiasco in the desert. We had a chance to talk, and he has some very interesting ideas, a very learned and scholarly individual. And I'll be honored to have him tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time to talk to us about his studies and his work on the grand solar minimum. I think Diamond called it a grand solar minimum primer. So look forward to that tonight at 7 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, here on the Christian Whistleblower channel. And today we're going to talk about something. And again, I have the right to remain silent, but apparently many times I do lack the ability. And it'd be so much easier to just go past things and not talk about certain things and not deal with certain things. But that's just not the kind of person that I am. I want to get down to, as Nacho Libre would say, to the nitty gritty. I want to get into the real stories. I want to get into the real controversies. I want to get into the real questions. And when you're talking about the paranormal, the truther, the alternative information individuals, one of the leading things within the genre is this idea of Planet X. And I started saying, you know what? I've only been in this thing maybe 5 years, seriously, 2.5, 3 years as far as being a podcaster goes. And hats off to Rex Bear, who I would consider my YouTube mentor. And we're getting ready to be at the Rex Bear Leak Con mid-May. Tickets, I think, maybe possibly still available. So make sure you get your tickets and you will be able to meet me personally. What other reason do you need to go? I'll be there. I believe Jay Campbell will be in tow. Halo Marquise, all of your Mistech questions, all of your optimization questions. We'll have some books there. We've written 14 of them. By we, I mean me. Jay will probably have his books as well. So we'll be there. We'll be at our table. We'll be there, as I told Diamond earlier today, happy and excited to meet and greet. I'm looking forward to meeting, I think, probably literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that I've never met before, except through this wonderful medium of YouTube. So let's do it. It's going to be LeakCon Extraordinaire 2019, Denver, Colorado Tech Data Center, 17, 18, 19 May, something like that. Get your tickets, make your reservations. Let's go. Rocky Stucci, shut up in the chat room. Always good to have Rocky. So let's look at this thing. And I wanted to study about Planet X. I said, you know what? Let me get some objective empirical information about Planet X. So I went and studied. And everything I saw was either pro Planet X. Planet X is responsible for everything. It's the most important truth in the whole wide world. If you don't believe in Planet X, we don't care about you. Or there was the Planet X is a farce. Planet X is ridiculous. Nobody with a brain would believe it. So what I was looking for was an objective, empirical, and historical look at Planet X. Couldn't find it. So I decided that I would just go ahead and make it. So what we hope to present here today is the first, to my knowledge, objective, empirical look at Planet X dash Nibiru. And some people are already upset because Planet X and Nibiru aren't the same thing. What's wrong with you? Well, this, coming from an objective, balanced, empirical standpoint, is guaranteed to piss off the maximum number of people, because you're going to upset people on both sides. And quite frankly, it doesn't really matter. We got people piling in the chat room. Glad to see you. Feel free to be to share. Don't feel free to take over. And if you do enter into the realm of ideas, I do reserve the right to rhetorically eviscerate you. So make sure that you have something that's worthy of being out there, that it's not rude, and that you're willing to defend it. No place for snowflakes here. No place for sensitive little flowers, because you will get stomped underfoot. PDQ, ladies and gentlemen. So let's look at this thing about Planet X. And I was so serious about bringing you an objective, empirical, scholarly presentation of the Planet X phenomenon that I probably spent the better part of 2 hours preparing a spiffy keynote presentation for you. Of course, I don't know how to efficiently display it on my computer, but I will do the best I can, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at the world's first, as far as I know, objective, empirical look at Planet X and Nibiru. Are you ready? Well, ready or not, here we go. So let's take a look, see, shall we? I will be your guide on this guided tour of an objective, empirical look at Planet X, Nibiru. And I got to learn how to make the whole screen just this and not have to show that. I could do it, but then it's on both screens and I can't see the chat. So yeah, I've got a long way to go. But you know what? I'm trying. I'm pushing. I'm doing the best I can. I know that's a poor excuse, but anyway, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I've never seen an objective, empirical look at the Planet X and or Nibiru question. And the cool thing about me is I have no dog in the fight. I came into this thing late. I came into this after Art Bell was gone. So I've got no dog in the fight, but they're still fighting the dog, ladies and gentlemen. I've got no preconceived notions. I'm not a believer. I'm not an opponent. Sorry if that bugs you, and it's guaranteed to probably bug lots of you. So let's get into this. And what I've attempted to do is go historically from the first mentions that I could find of Planet X / Nibiru, and I'll just say PXN from now on. So from the beginning, the origins of PXN, the earliest I could find in our objective empirical look at Planet X was about 1894. Boston astronomer Percival Lowell. What a great name. And ladies and gentlemen, one thing I knew before coming into this Planet X study is I knew that Uranus would be front and center. I knew that Uranus had to be highly involved in this dark subject. And sure enough, ladies and gentlemen, 1894, Percival Lowell noticed slight discrepancies in Uranus. Very astute student he was. He noticed a slight discrepancy in Uranus, specifically in the orbit of Uranus. And he also noticed a slight discrepancy in the order of Neptune. And being the astronomer he was, he decided to figure out why would Uranus and Neptune have slight discrepancies in their orbits. Well, he speculated that they were being tugged. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he said Uranus was being tugged by another, specifically the gravity of another, more distant planet, which in 1894, ladies and gentlemen, he called Planet X. Now, how many of you Planet X lovers, how many of you Planet X haters knew the actual creation of the term Planet X? How many of you knew who did it? Well, now you know. Boston astronomer Percival Lowell. So he said Planet X is warping, if you will. I'm not an astronomer. I don't play one on TV, or I don't play one on YouTube either. He speculated that Uranus and Neptune, their orbits were being warped by a distant planet that he called Planet X. Now, obviously, since 1894, over the next 100 years, there was a lot of searching, a lot of searching high, a lot of searching low, looking behind Uranus, looking around Uranus, sometimes probably even trying to look through Uranus. I know I'm a child. I just can't help it. But over the next 100 years, there was a lot of searching of behind, around, through, beside Uranus, and no other planets were found. No other planets were found. Pluto, of course, was found, but it was ruled out as being too small. Material Classified says 1894, he was able to make those calculations. Oh, yeah. Think how far back into the days of antiquity the guys, dudes, and I don't know about dudettes, probably dudettes, were making those calculations. So then in 1976, along comes our favorite. Along comes the father of the Planet X genre, the one, the only, Zecharia Sitchin. Zecharia Sitchin published The 12th Planet, and the rest is history. I'm not going to spend time on Zecharia Sitchin because most of you have forgotten more than I know about Zecharia Sitchin. I read his books. I understand his theories. Am I 100% on board? No. Am I 100% saying he was a quack? No. He did some interesting work in the original languages. Do I accept all this stuff? No. But again, this isn't about my opinion. This is about an objective and empirical look at the Planet X Nibiru story. So 1983 comes along, and the IRAS Space Observatory cited, ladies and gentlemen, what they thought initially was an unknown object, possibly as large as Jupiter, bigger even than Uranus. It was possibly as large as Jupiter. That was 1983. And as science is, they continued to study, they continued to look, they continued to compile data. And what they found out was that no, it was not an object as large as Jupiter. What they were seeing were distant galaxies and interstellar cirrus. I was going to define that for you, but I think I might let you look it up. It's really just about what it sounds like. But they did not find any solar system bodies. Now, many Planet X enthusiasts will tell you that the IRAS Space Observatory saw Planet X. It did not. And Jeannie Rose asked the real big question: how big is Uranus? Great question. And I saw another great question. Someone talked about, how can you get to Uranus from the moon? Nothing but the best and the brightest in our chat room, ladies and gentlemen. So 1983, no, it wasn't a sighting of Planet X. Let's go to the 1990s. And astronomer Robert Harrington. One thing I want to comment on, if we look at this, we're looking at astronomer Percival Lowell. We're looking at the IRAS Space Observatory. Now we're coming up on Robert Harrington. We're seeing men and presumably women that are making objective, empirical, scientific inquiries. This doesn't look right. What's causing it? Maybe it's this. They're postulating, they're creating theories. That's what scientists do. And as new data comes in, scientists, true scientists, subject their findings and their theories to the new data, and that which stands up and holds water continues. That which is proven wrong or errant by new data goes by the wayside. So in the 1990s, Robert Harrington, basing his ideas on the work of Lowell, figured out that the perihelion of Planet X would be 59.60, which means absolutely 0.0 to me. But what it does mean, and even I can understand, is that even at its very, very closest, ladies and gentlemen, Planet X would be 1.5 times, almost twice the distance from here to Pluto at its closest point to the sun. So think about that. This thing is way, 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 way out there, if in fact it existed. Very interesting. Uranus, Neptune, a little warped. What could be causing it? Might be another planetary body. That planetary body would be 1.5 times distance from here to Pluto at its closest point to the sun. So we'll just let you put that in your peace pipe and smoke it. Just make sure that You're not disposing of flammable material inappropriately. Then in 1992, pardon me, comes a guy named Miles Standish, which I think is interesting because one of the guys that came over on the Mayflower or was Miles Standish, wasn't it? Anyway, the JPL developmental ephemeris, a big study in technical terms about the mass of the planets in our solar system, had just discovered that they'd been overestimating the mass of Neptune. And when you overestimate the mass of Neptune, that throws off all of your math about all of the other planets. And Standish says, whoa, wait a second. With a correct understanding of the true mass of Neptune, there's no discrepancy anymore in the orbit of Neptune. And ladies and gentlemen, you can rest easy because Miles Standish in 1992 also discovered that due to the corrections in the mass of Neptune, that Uranus is no longer in a warped orbit. Rest easy. Uranus can travel smoothly. Uranus can travel without hitch. Uranus can travel without slowdown. And Uranus is no longer warped, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks be to Miles Standish in 1992. So with the new data, the discrepancies in both the orbits of Neptune and Uranus, they vanished. And subsequently, all of the probes that have been sent, no, not to Uranus, people. Get your heads out of the gutter. The probes that have been sent into space show no irregularities or pools from any unseen objects based upon the new understanding of the correct mass of the planets involved. That's how science works. And it's cool when it works that way. And that's how we should work. Oh, man, this looks really cool. Oh, we found this out. Maybe I need to work on that one a little bit. Not, no, you're stupid. You're lying. I'm the only one that's real. And electric crystals, yes, they were probing Uranus. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? So we come down now into what I would call the modern Planet X era. And that brings us right into your friend and mine, Nancy Leader and Zeta Talk. Mr. Bone Dangle says aliens probe Uranus. Why are you guys so big on the Uranus jokes? Why are you so immature? Jeez, do you really have to make jokes about Uranus every chance you get? What's wrong with you? So Nancy Leader was channeling aliens from Zeta Reticuli through an implant in her head. And she was told by the aliens from Zeta Reticuli that she's channeling through an implant in her head that Planet X was 4 times the size of Earth, and that it was coming in May 2003. And when it did come, it would stop the Earth from rotating for 6 days and cause a pole shift. Then she also claimed that the comet Hale-Bopp didn't really exist, and it was just a distraction from the coming PXN. May 2003 passed, and June 2003 brought new theories from Nancy Leader and Zeta Talk, who can still be found on the internet today, inexplicably to me, but it wasn't really aliens from Zeta Reticuli that she was channeling. She thinks she might have been channeling gremlins from Uranus because what it really was, she said, after being proven wrong, was that these gremlins were giving her a white lie to fool the establishment. Call Nancy a lot of things, but don't call her stupid because she has since refused to set a new date for the arrival of PXN because it would, quote, allow the establishment to declare martial law and trap people in cities. No word if she's wondering about people being trapped in Uranus, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it also, her disproven, laughable, debunked theories became part of the 2012 craze lore as well. Barking spider. I've heard people claim that spiders have come from not Uranus, but Planet X. I'm just saying. So 1999, ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Ferrada. Now, Carlos Ferrada was nobody's Nancy leader. Carlos was not channeling aliens from Zeta Reticuli or gremlins from Uranus. Carlos Ferrada was of the nautical school of the Chilean Navy. He was a merchant naval officer. He was a member of the Astronomical Society of Gijón. He was a member of the Astronomical Society of Milan. And he was the director of the Astronomical Observatory of Panama for 5 years. Dude was a legit scholar. Dude was a legit astronomer. And dude thought that a comet planet, which he called Hercolobus, would pass by the Earth at 14 million kilometers. 14 million kilometers. Pass by the Earth at 14 million kilometers. And that it would create great geophysical changes. And he said that 1999 would be the beginning of observable results from the arrival of Hercolobus. He said that Hercolobus is a red planet with a tail. Reminds me of the Christian depiction of Satan, which is interesting. And I'm sure he was doctor. He didn't say doctor, but with all that stuff, he got to be doctor, right? Or at least I'll call him doctor. Dr. Ferrada charged with, he said it would be charged with energy, Hercolobus would be, that would create both physical and psychic disease and upheaval. That interests me. That, ladies and gentlemen, interests me. Planet X, Nibiru, whatever you want to call it, not only creating change on Earth physically, but somebody suggesting that it might be imbued with certain psychic energies that could cause upheaval in the spirituality of the planet. Interesting. 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 Carlos Ferrada said that Planet X travels between our sun and a black sun, 32 trillion kilometers away. He said it was 6 times the size of Jupiter. And he said that from 1999 on, Planet X should be increasingly viewable by the naked eye until it would become permanently visible. So that's now 99, almost 20 years. He also said that the powers that be would continue to try to hide the arrival and hide the sightings. But think of this. He said the arrival will cause human and geophysical change, and it will bring change and destruction. An interesting thing about Carlos Ferrada, look at the day he died. Probably means nothing, but how interesting is that? He died on September 11th, 2001. Very interesting. And now as we take a turn into the ridiculous, in 2017, David Meade, a self-proclaimed Christian numerologist, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Christian numerologist, take all the time you need to figure that one out. He tied Nibiru to quote-unquote biblical prophecy and the Giza pyramids. And not between the Giza pyramids, biblical prophecy, I think that he probably was getting a lot of information by channeling Uranus. That's just my personal opinion. But he found the exact date Planet X was going to show up, ladies and gentlemen. And you guessed it. It was September 23, 2017. And he tied it into the fake special celestial alignment supposedly tied to Revelation 12, which, oh, by the way, and I wrote a book about this. I will put it in the box below after we get off the air. That special never before, hasn't ever happened, can't ever happen alignment occurred at least 4 times in the last 100 years. David Meade had all the veracity of Nancy what's-her-name, and Nancy was channeling cooties from Zeta Reticuli, and he was channeling gremlins from Uranus, and they both got the same results. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I would be remiss as a reporter if I did not remind you that David Meade was joined in his predictions of woe, doom, gloom, rapture by the likes of Mr. L.A. Marzulli. That's right, L.A. Marzulli and YouTuber Scotty Clark. Both of which, by the way, have refused multiple requests for interviews and multiple challenges for scholarly, gentlemanly debates with yours truly. Planet X. Let's talk about some scientific refutations of Planet X. Percival's theory was an honest treatment, in my opinion, of what were then the observable scientific facts. And the subsequent discovery of the true mass of Neptune rendered his previous theory moot. The IRAS Observatory, honest, plausible theory, invalidated by later discoveries, made possible by advances in technology. That's how things work. Robert Harrington, again, honest, plausible theory, unnecessary by the discovery of the true mass of Neptune. Nancy Leader. Dude, she was channeling cooties from Zeta Reticuli. Her predictions failed. Enough said. David Meade, channeling cooties from Uranus. His predictions failed. Nothing more to say. L.A. Marzulli, false prophet. Scott Clark, false prophet, failed predictions. Next, let's move right along. Scientific refutations include the statement, ubiquitous statement by astronomers that an object of a size sufficient enough to be Planet X would destabilize all planetary orbits, and the effects would be easily observable today. Other objects such as Planet 9 and other candidates remain, but all of them, ladies and gentlemen, do you notice the word all of the potential bodies out there that could be Planet X-like? All of them have orbits that will keep them well beyond Neptune when closest to the sun. And here we go, duck and cover. The photographs of PXN that we've seen, and I should put a asterisk by the all, are all lens flares, false sun images via internal lens reflections by those who are ignorant or unscrupulous, and are outright fakes, forgeries and disinformation by lying self-promoters and fear porners. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Planet X world is a loathsome, nasty, bottom-feeding, creepy, crawly world, mostly populated by unscrupulous, outright fakes, forgers, disinfo agents, lying self-promoters, and fear porners. Mostly. We'll get to more in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Pluto can be seen by amateur astronomers. Something as large as Planet X, Nibiru, would also be seen. Nibiru behind the sun theories have been proven untenable both astronomically and mathematically. NASA scientist, and here we go, David Morrison, in a very detailed paper, concluded that even a single Planet X Nibiru pass would have moved Earth out of its current orbit, and Earth would have lost its moon. If Planet X Nibiru is a brown dwarf, results would have been even worse, as brown dwarfs are typically even more massive. And according to Mike Brown from Caltech, which is where dude from what's that, Big Bang Theory is from, so you know this has to be true. What's that guy's name? Anyway, if the orbit of planet X is as stated, Jupiter would have ejected planet X, Nibiru, after about 1 million years. And even if it were in our solar system, it would have no effect, ladies and gentlemen, on Earth's magnetic field. It would have no effect on Earth's magnetic field, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Brown noted, and I'm quoting him from the Discovery Channel, that while it's not impossible that the sun has a distant planetary companion, such an object would have to be lying very far from the observed regions of our solar system to have no detectable gravitational effect on other planets. A Mars-sized object could lie undetected at 10 times the distance of Neptune. A Jupiter-sized object could lie undetected at, looks like 30 times. It would be 1,000, because 300 AU is 10 times the distance of Neptune. Jupiter-sized object at 30,000 AU. I'm a Bible college graduate, not a math major. I'll let you do the math. And to travel 1,000 AU in 2 years, you'd have to be moving 2,400 kilometers per second faster than the galactic escape velocity. At that speed, any object would shoot out of the solar system and then out of the Milky Way and into intergalactic space, leaving Uranus in its wake, ladies and gentlemen. But that's just science. And with that, we move into the conspiracy theories. And we all know that NASA tries to cover everything up and is incredibly successful, despite only having 0.05% of the U.S. budget allotted to them. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's the SPT, otherwise known as the South Pole Telescope. Planet X, I don't want to say hoaxers, say that it was deployed just to track and image Planet X, and that the South Pole is the only place that Planet X can be seen from. Couple holes in that theory. Number one, the SPT is not funded by NASA. It's a radio telescope and is incapable of imaging, ladies and gentlemen. And, oh yeah, by the way, it's impossible for Planet X Nibiru to only be viewable from the South Pole. Another conspiracy theory, V83MON, the picture of Nibiru. Well, it's actually a Hubble telescope image. NASA put the Hubble up, dudes. It's a Hubble image of the expanding light echo around the star of the same designation. How ironic. Then NASA gave you a snap of Planet X. And ladies and gentlemen, since we talked about Rex Bear and League Con coming up, would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? V838MON. Would you just look at it? That's what, and what does that say it was? That's what a expanding light echo around a star looks like. And incidentally, that's what Carlos Ferrata was looking at. I think Mr. Ferrata's very studious discoveries and claims have to take on a different look in continued discovery, such as the V838MON as a, don't let me misquote, a light echo around a star. Very impressive and looks like a Planet X, brown dwarf. I won't make a Uranus joke. More conspiracy theories. Dude, there's missing data in Google Sky near Orion. They're hiding Planet X, brah. Well, it's actually a glitch in the Google stitching software. And for those of you that don't know what stitching is, look at the seam on your pants. There's a glitch in the stitching software. And oh, by the way, that area that Google's hiding, bro, has been imaged countless times by amateur astronomers. And here's one, the CW Leonis, often claimed to be Planet X, often claimed to be Nibiru. It's very upset because it's not those things. It's CW Leonis, and it likes its name. It's a carbon star. And again, to honor the upcoming Leak Con, I'll say it one more time. Will you just look at it? Please, just look at it. There you go. So, these are some of the other things that have been thrown up to be Planet X, have been thrown up to be Nibiru. And again, I'm editorializing here now. Most of what we see today from the Planet X minds and the Planet X channels and the Planet X advocates, we see a bunch of midgets cavorting on the shoulders of giants. We see people perverting the science and the discoveries of great astronomers to cash in and make a buck, to cash in and get a click. It's disgusting, and we ought to reject it, ladies and gentlemen. How do I get to my last slide? And the award for the best fear porn subject goes to Ron Jeremy. Jenna Jameson are suing Planet X advocates for being the best porn subject on YouTube, specifically the best fear porn subject on YouTube. I have one more slide, and I'm going to figure out how to get to it because I'm not going to be denied. To show you my last couple slides. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And then look at that. There we go. Which brings me in conclusion to the ghost of Carlos Ferrata. Why does he keep me up at night? He really doesn't keep me up at night. I'm just using a rhetorical device to maybe keep you interested. But Ferrata's information I find compelling because it is so scholarly, because it is so exacting, and because he is the only one that I've seen that brought in the possibility of spiritual change accompanying physical change. And I saw something the other day, and I didn't take the time to look it up because I forgot, that there is a company that is pioneering or already rolling out the ability to project images into the sky. So it has me wondering if Planet X is the leading conspiracy theory in the world, and in the opinion of most scholars, it is. I would have thought it would have been something else that we're not going to mention because I don't want to open up that can of worms. But they seem to think that Planet X is the biggest conspiracy theory. And if it is the biggest conspiracy theory, if it is the most widespread conspiracy theory, is it possible that we could be seeing the preparation for and Lori Duran, I do believe that the God of the Bible is a rat bastard. And this is what happens when little minds run out of information. When little minds run out of facts, when little minds run out of information, they do what's called an ad hominem attack. They can't defeat the information, so they go after the messenger. Nancy, was it Nancy? Who was that? Whoever that was. I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game. Say when. Planet X Nibiru false flag. Let's just say that some of the things that you're seeing in the sky aren't due to your lack of expertise with photographic equipment. Let's just say that. Let's just say that some of the things you're seeing in the sky aren't your lack of understanding and sophistication regarding fractaling of light. That's not the right word. You know what I'm talking about. Let's just assume that maybe you are seeing something in spite of all the science, in spite of all the math, in spite of all the facts, that you're seeing something in the sky. You could be crazy as hell. But let's say that in spite of all the facts and all the data, and let's just assume, and that could be a big ass assumption for some of you, that you're not crazy as hell. Is it possible that you're seeing things projected into the skies to intentionally deceive you? Is it possible? And should you take that into consideration with all the math and all the science and all the data that says you're crazy and that it ain't there, that it can't be there? Is it possible that what you're seeing is preparation for a Planet X Nibiru false flag storming forth from Uranus? Is it possible? Here's another thing I thought about. And someone just said in the QAON, the sun is rising in the wrong direction. A lot of people are noticing irregularities in the skies. A lot of people are noticing irregularities with the sun. Might I suggest to you that it's simplistic to say that everything that's different is different because of Planet X? You know who's really happy about the Planet X? The guy the Christians call the devil, because the devil used to get blamed for everything. Now he's off the hook because Planet X gets blamed for everything today. So the Christian devil wants to say, thank you. Thank you very much. He sounds like Elvis a little bit, that devil. But listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. And Amanda's right. The sun can. And in the most ham-handed and horrible attempt at flirting I've ever seen in my life, Mr. Bone Dangle says to Tracy, I'd like to probe Uranus. Oh, let me know how that one works for you. Ladies and gentlemen, do not try that at home or anywhere else if you know what's good for you. Are you familiar with the concept of a tulpa? A tulpa is, and I thought it was mainly just a being, but as I researched for nearly 2 hours to prepare this presentation for you, I was reminded that tulpas can also be objects. And a tulpa is basically the coalescence of projected intention and energy, much like the Christian devil and the Christian God, but don't tell anyone. So many people believe in it, and there's this power, it's going out, it's going out, it's going out, it's going out, it's going out. Thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, thoughts are vibration, and they coalesce together. And usually you get a being, the devil, plastic, Jesus, something like that. But you can also get an object. Ladies and gentlemen, what if there's so much intention being put forth regarding Planet X? What if there's so much intention being put forth regarding Nibiru, Nemesis, Wormwood, whatever you call it? What if there's so much energy and intention and vibration and frequency being put out that it's coalescing together? And some of you people are really seeing Planet X. Some of you people are really seeing Nibiru. And if that's happening, it may get to the point where even people that don't believe it are seeing it. That's interesting. That's interesting. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the first, mostly objective and empirical look at Planet X and Nibiru. That's the timeline, that's the information, that's the data. As I said at the beginning, I'm not a believer, I'm not an opponent. I put out the information, you decide. I put out the information, you decide. We've been here almost 44 minutes. I will take a run through the chat room to honor you and respect those of you that have listened to me ramble for 44 minutes. And let me just see what might be said here. Amanda thinks X is a sexy letter. So can we extrapolate and say that Amanda thinks that planet X is a sexy planet? I think we can. Mad Finger's doing the neutron dance, and I'm glad it's not being broadcast live. Sorry, science from the mainstream, STREEM, is BS. Thanks, Edgar. Where do you get your science? NASA wouldn't deceive us, would they? Let's say they would. Okay, NASA would deceive us. They're working for the government. Of course they would deceive us. But to say that everything NASA says is a deception is to misunderstand the role of a deceiver, because a good deceiver puts out good information and mixes in the bad. So to be a true person of unindoctrination, to be a true person of science, a true person of inquiry, a true person of investigation, you have to employ some investigative ledger germane. You got to think like they think, and you got to realize, yeah, NASA's putting out some erroneous stuff, but you got to learn to pick out what's the good, what's the bad. It's kind of like reading the New Testament. 80% of it's garbage, but 20% of it's pretty good. So what's NASA lying about, and what are they telling us the truth about? It's our job to figure that out. It's not my job. It's not a YouTube channel's job. And you shouldn't be jobbing out that job. You should be doing it your damn self. Figure out what's true and what's not true. And don't let somebody tell you, you figure it out. Is Planet X a system? I don't know, Karen. I thought it was the winged planet. Jeff's been smoking. Nope, Jeff doesn't smoke nothing. Jeff only smokes when he's on fire. Oh, yes. You should know that by now. NASA, never a straight answer. No, Edgar, I just explained that to you. If NASA was never a straight answer, it wouldn't be effective in its deception. And if you like this, hit the like button. If you hate this, hit the hate button. And if you think I'm putting out good information, subscribe so you don't miss any. If you think I'm putting out garbage, subscribe so you can keep an eye on me, because I'm just getting started. Visit my website. It's linked on the channel. Get yourself your Mystech bracelets. They'll restore you to the Schumann resonance. They make me better in the gym. They make me better in the bedroom. They really do. And they'll put you at the Schumann resonance, give you balance that you can use to build your best life, create yourself, build the life you love. Also, look at the FLFE tab, the Focus Life Force Energy. Put a high consciousness field around you and in your home, 30 days free, and you will be hooked in a good way. I guarantee it. I look up, and even telescopes, I see nothing like what the experts have told me. Keep looking up, Amanda. What about the hypothesis that they're actually ships? That's interesting. The stories logged by Sumerian people are just that, bedtime stories. William Cobo, I think they're all stories, brother. Jeff seems to believe, then not believe. Does he believe in anything? I believe that that's a dumb comment. I believe in getting all the information and weighing it and making a rational decision. And I believe that I'm doing my job, because my job is to get you to ask questions. And you're doing it, wisdom granted. Don't know if I'm really ready to grant you wisdom yet, but Ron Jeremy and Jenna Jameson really suing her, is that a joke? It's a joke. I said that Planet X was the biggest fear porn subject. Ron Jeremy, porn, I think. Jenna Jameson, porn, I think. So they're porn stars, and they're suing because Planet X has taken away some of their porn. Yeah, it's not a very good joke if you got to explain it. That's terrible, Mr. Bone Dangles. But yet somehow worthy of repetition. When Ron Jeremy probes Uranus, you'll know it. Oh, that's just bad. That's just bad. If you trust scholars, then why do you disbelieve the Bible scholars? Who said I trust scholars? See, here's wisdom granted is cross. This is another example of, you've stepped on my toes. You've challenged my convictions. You've got me outside my paradigm. I'm uncomfortable. So all I can do is attack. Wisdom granted, you don't look like a stupid person. Understand the feeling that you're feeling right now. You're feeling uncomfortable. You're feeling exposed because you're the information that's been with a what are those things called, funnels, and poured into your head is running out, because the information that Mama Bird has flown over and gone blah, and you've gone is running out. The feeling that you're feeling is the breakdown of cognitive. It's the start of cognitive dissonance. It's the breakdown of Stockholm syndrome that you're feeling. And when you start feeling that, instead of attacking the individual that's bringing you information that doesn't line up with your current paradigm, you might try asking questions like, why is this upsetting me? Why am I having such an emotional reaction to such a nice, handsome individual bringing me alternative information? Why am I so pissed off when I'm not even getting pissed on? Ask yourself some of those deep questions, grasshopper. When you can take the pebble from my hand, you are ready. Let's see. Why not believe in the living truth? I'm with that. Please have some respect for the planets. We don't want Uranus chapped. No, we don't. And ladies and gentlemen, I had a great moment the other day. Wayne and I do the Sunday show, and him and Patrick have been talking to the planets. And I got the chance to ask Wayne live, when do we get to talk to Uranus? It was beautiful. But anyway, I am just the mailman. Pisces 69 has seen things in the sky. The Earth's rotation is messed up. What is the ability to do that? Well, you're presuming the Earth's rotation is messed up. And that's a good question. But the answer to every question isn't always Planet X. Tracy Dyer, Uranus has always felt left behind. Pardon. There is some weird stuff in the sky. I agree. You can't use lenses to capture because there's too many possible lens defects and aberrations. I agree. You may need medication, My Skies 5D. I'm not going to debate you on that. The trifecta of BS, says Daniel Becker. Mandela effect, Nibiru, and flat Earth. Well, I'm kind of offended about that Mandela effect part. The sun's rising. Yeah, okay. I do test everything good. Possible, but if you can't touch it, does it still make you cognitive crazy? Yeah, could be. The Bible was hijacked. Absolutely. A neutron star is available. Okay. Scripted prophecies. David Icke says it's a hologram. Amanda says that made no sense. Is it possible they're putting out disinformation to confuse us? Abso-damn-lutely, Jenny Simon. I saw fluorescent clouds in the sky the other day while driving. Were you also smoking crack? That's a joke. I don't mean it. The devil lives on Planet X. Oh, QAnon has it all figured out. Planet X is where the devil's reptilian Anunnaki are from. And you're questioning my data, brah? Sis, can't really tell. That's not any reflection on you, however. The devil wears blue suede shoes. Are we in a simulation? Later, Jeff, condescending to your viewers is way uncool. Peace out. Well, ask yourself some questions, Wisdom. Don't get your underwear in an uproar. Find yourself a safe zone. Hold your pillow. And it'll be all right. I'm on the beach. I believe Lucifer is a tulpa. Yep. We could manifest Planet X. Sure, we could. Life is a tulpa. We're manifesting our destiny. Cause and effect. I've never seen Nibiru, but I want to. They'll artificially block the sun and the moon. Who will? How do you know? And are you willing to let them do that? David Shill job. Yep, but not for lack of effort. Very enjoyable discussion. Speaking from a corporate loss prevention background, this is interesting. The sad that this is not part of school and education. More people would understand how to process and disseminate facts. I like that diverse city. What does AI say about Planet X? Good question. Amanda B says, you're fired. Okay, I'll leave now. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you wanted to know about Planet X, but we're afraid to ask. Well, at least you know the history. At least you know the data. And tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time, I'll be joined by Diamond from Oppenheimer Ranch Project right here on this very You Tizzle channel. Be here, because if you don't, you'll miss all the fun. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. I'm here for a very few reasons. One is to offer hopefully a little bit of entertainment, but mainly to help you guide your own spirit, to help you master your own ascension, to help you be your own guru, to hopefully get you to ask questions and question answers. When I get finished with a show, I either want you cussing me or kissing me, because either way, you're motivated to take action. The last thing I want is, that was okay. Because nothing happens until you take action. I'm here to poke, prod, press, and even piss off if I have to, you, to get you to ask questions, to get you to question answers, even your own. Cousin, I'll do anything short of gross stupidity, and I might even try that, to get you to unindoctrinate yourself.